The official autopsy and toxicology report for Riley Strain answers everything we wondered about what happened on March 8th. Was he drunk? Was he drugged? Was he on drugs? Last week we urged you to be patient, and this is why. There was one big surprise and one thing that everyone got wrong, but ultimately nothing that gives any weight to any of the conspiracy theories. So no, Riley wasn't abducted, he wasn't a victim of the smiley face killer, and there's nothing that indicates he was pushed into the Cumberland River. The official cause of death is a two-parter, and I'm going to use language provided by Strain family investigator Steve Fisher here because his posts go far deeper than anything being reported by Nashville area television stations or newspapers, even if they all kind of say the same thing. The medical examiner ruled Strain's death as an accidental drowning, and yes, there was alcohol and drugs in his system. More on that in a moment, because this note reveals something that everyone got wrong. There was water in his lungs and chest cavity. That's what pulmonary edema and pleural effusions mean. You may recall that the preliminary autopsy said there was no water in his lungs, and that led to all sorts of conspiracies and accusations of a cover-up. There was drugs in his system, but no evidence that Riley Strain was drugged. Specifically, there was no Ropanol or any other central nervous system depressants detected, so scratch that theory off your list. He did drink a heck of a lot of alcohol in a very short period of time. In fact, Fox 17 lists Riley's cause of death as accidental drowning and ethanol intoxication, which sounds way more malicious than it is. It's just another word for alcohol poisoning. His blood alcohol level was 0.228, which is 3 times the legal limit to drive, but also above the limit where you can walk on your own or really think clearly. That tracks with this video of Riley trying to run down the street and hitting a pole. What's interesting is that Luke's 32 Bridge, where Riley was last served, said they only served him 1 drink. I gotta believe that his family will ask, or has already asked, all those other bars that Riley visited how much they served him. The Mayo Clinic says that for a guy, 0.228 is 5 drinks in 2 hours, and I think now is a pretty good time to mention that if I throw out a stat, it's sourced from places like the Mayo Clinic or similar. Subscribers know that I'm not just pontificating or exaggerating to keep you here a little bit longer. Tap subscribe if you appreciate that, and please leave a kind word for the Strain family below. Here is part of the actual toxicology report, courtesy of Steve Fisher, and to tie up last week's video about conflicting stories between him and an investigator named Jennifer Coffindaffer, he was totally right. She said that there were no drugs in Riley's system, but there was. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to interpret these figures, but this summary really helped. There was a small amount of something called Delta-9 THC in Strain's system. Marijuana, not legal in Tennessee, but Delta-9 is a legal form of THC in Tennessee. It's often smokable. More interesting, and I didn't see this reported very much, there was quite a bit of 11-hydroxy Delta-9 THC, 5.5 when the reporting limit is 3, so twice as much. Often this kind of THC is found in an edible, but before I go all in on this being present, I'll point that it's not here, so I'm not really sure how Steve got all that information, but I am willing to give him some benefit of the doubt due to how he's approached this investigation so far. All that was really technical, so I'm just going to dumb it down and say that Riley was really drunk and likely more than a little high. Moving forward, 2 things are going to be really interesting to watch. The first is what a second autopsy ordered by the Strain family concludes. The second is how any lawsuits play out. Remember, the Strains hired personal injury lawyers Morgan & Morgan to investigate. They are a pretty litigious group, so it's hard to imagine someone not getting sued over this. Strain's decisions that night and the autopsy will certainly be key pieces of evidence. I've dropped another video I think you'll appreciate right here, and YouTube selected a video they think you'll like here. I'm Billy Dukes for Taste of Country. Thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing.